And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Cheap Ludes, with another returning series. Look, this is the day of returning series. This is the resurrection day, as they say. This time, we're going to be talking about the top 10 budget cards in NBA 2K22 My Team. And look, it can't be a Cheap Ludes list without including 5 honorable mentions, which completely destroy the concept of the top 10 budget cards. You guys already know what it is, so let's get straight into it. Now, I'm going to be doing 15, I think 15 total is the amount of cards, but look, dude, there's a lot of good budget cards at this point. So we'll start off strong with a card that I think is going to get overlooked for a while, but is very good. Norman Powell. Especially for somebody who's just now getting into the game, like Norman Powell is very, very good. Like 6'4", so he can play the point guard semi-effectively. He looks a wee bit bigger than that, honestly. Like, he maybe looks like 6'5". Like, it's not like he looks 6'7" or anything, but like 6'5", I think, is accurate. You could say he looks 6'5", I think. Norman Powell's really solid. Like, his badge count, really decent. Catch and shoot corner specialist. I will say he has better badges for a shooting guard, but the budget point guard is just kind of non-existent this year, so that's why I would include Norman Powell in the honorable mentions. Like, he plays pretty competent defense. He can attack the rim. He can three hunt. Like, he's got base 32 on quick, which is the same as like Jalen Rose, Shumpert, Rondo. The one negative for this is he's going to miss a lot of whites, which especially if you're a new player is going to be frustrating for sure. But if you're just trying to take the fight to domination, get some Hoff badges, play some fun offline stuff, like you could do a lot worse at the point guard position than Norman Powell. Also, very easy to manage dribble moves too that don't require like a whole lot of skill in relation to the dribbling. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm a terrible dribbler myself, but like he's got James Harden's behind the back, which isn't the most meta thing in the world, but it's very easy to pull off multiple times in a row. Like you can get off easy. Vince Carter's crossover I actually think is really decent. I know it's not the most meta thing in the world, but I personally like it. So I think with those facts, in addition to Norman Powell, like being just generally okay, he's worth 2,000 MT, especially if you're just starting out. You don't really need to give him badges or anything. Like set shooter's probably appropriate, but realistically, if he's running the point, he's not going to be triggering set shooter all that often. And he doesn't really need any badges, honestly. Like for the point guard, floor general is going to be helpful for sure, especially when you're playing on like higher difficulties. But for the most part, not terrible. Honorable mention number 2 is a card that I love. It's my boy Jeff Green. Jeff Green's fantastic. Like straight up, he is. He's just good. Like there's nothing like else I can really say about Jeff Green other than he's just kind of fire, dude. Like Jeff Green is really solid, especially for this price. I mean, you can get the signature version for about the same price as the regular version, and I don't remember what the Hoff badge difference is. Let me go ahead and take a look for you. I believe it's something not inconsequential, but not the worst. Yeah, unstrippable, which on current gen doesn't really mean a whole lot, but if you can go ahead and get the same price for him, it doesn't really matter. Jeff Green is 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan, right? Very huge. Dribble sigs are not great, I'll be honest. He's going to be more of a 3-and-D threat, but he does have that jump shot 50 on quick, which only him, Jay Williams, and Chris Kaman have. All that kind of lends credence to the fact that if we get a Chris Kaman card, like he's going to be sick, dude. He is. Like this jump shot is straight up elite. Even with an 88 3-pointer, it doesn't matter. Catch and shoot, corner specialist, pickpocket clamps. He's going to be an elite defender. He's going to make pretty much every open 3 that he takes. And he's also going to be able to attack the rim a little bit. He's just not going to be a dribble god. That's kind of the only difference. You know what I mean? But Jeff Green, he doesn't really need a whole lot. Yeah, you'd like to see him have Hoff limitless. And the only reason he's an honorable mention is because there's so many good combo forwards on this list that it's like really hard to put him in the top 10, especially when there's positions that are significantly weaker. But Jeff Green is really, really good. Next up, we got the Red Assassin, dog. You already know what's up. Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter on his own is really good. Now, he's expensive, and you might be thinking, why is Kevin Huerter expensive? Oh, he must be good. I mean, he is good. But the real reason that he's expensive is because now he has a dynamic duo with Cam Reddish that gives him from 12 to 22 Hoff badges. And this card was already really good. But now he gets some finishing badges. He gets like Hoff Chef, Circus Threes, Corner Specialist, Deadeye, Difficult Green Machine, Hot Zone Hunter, Slippery Off Ball, Stop and Pop. Like, he turns into an elite level card. But right off the bat, he is a great plug and play shooting guard. Now, Cam Reddish is like 30K, so it does kind of damper him, and that's kind of why I'm putting him in the honorable mention, to be honest. Another honorable mention that I feel like is a card that's only really good because of the position being kind of weak would be Larry Sanders. Larry Sanders is a great 3-and-D big man. For 2,000 MT, you could do a lot worse. Like, you could build a 20K MT squad that'll be able to take on domination. And Larry Sanders can definitely be a part of that. Like, he's an elite level defender. 6'11 is just big enough to hold down the center position. Like, he can shoot. Set shot 17 isn't great, but it is very usable. Shout out to Larry Sanders, dude. He really left the NBA to just, like, go do a rap career. Which, like, you may think that I'm making fun of him for that, but no, I actually super respect it. Like, he said, you know what, I am hooping, but I actually want to spit bars, so I'm going to go spit bars. Also, due to some mental health and cannabis-related stuff, which, like, once again, Larry Sanders just in the league at the wrong time, to be honest. He's in the league now, no one cares. It's kind of an unwritten rule that no one cares about cannabis stuff anymore. So, it sucks, but it's a little NBA history for you. Final honorable mention is another combo forward. There's just so many of them. Boris Diaw. I personally like Boris Diaw a lot. Now, his price did inflate a little bit, but he's still only like 4,000 MT. He has a dynamic duo with Jason Richardson, who's, I'll be honest, not the greatest. But when you go from 17 to 26 Hoff badges, a lot of those being finishing, though. That's the one thing I'll say. So he's not really in need of that dynamic duo. Like, that's the thing. Like, with Schroder, it is a huge benefit to do that. When it comes to Boris Diaw, yes, he gets better, but you can just run Boris Diaw normally. Like, he's the perfect point forward. He is, especially for this price. I mean, he's got Hoff Limitless. Like, he's got set shooter, quick first step, unpluckable. He's got a great combination of, like, defensive, dribbling, facilitating, and shooting badges. As far as badges in general, like, he doesn't really need anything. Like, honestly, like, he's got, what, 66 badges as is, I think. Am I doing math correctly? Yeah, he's got 66 badges. He doesn't have Chef or Limitless Takeoff, which are kind of important badges, same with Quick Chain and Glue Hand. So he does have badges that he needs upgraded, but at the same time, like, Boris Diaw is really good. So now let's get on to the actual list. Number 10. He's a card that I think a lot of people think kind of sucks because he just isn't as good as he's been the last couple of years, but for a newer player, he's fantastic, and that's James Wiseman. You can get James Wiseman for 5K, 8K at the absolute most, and Wiseman's really good. This is probably technically a snipe. I'm just going to go ahead and pick that up real quick and sell him back. 7 foot tall, catch and shoot corner specialist, brick wall rim protector. So he's going to be able to play great defense. He's going to be able to shoot as well, which is something that I think a lot of people don't give him credit for, which, you know, in my opinion, is kind of one of those things that he should get credit for because he is a really good shooter. I personally like his release. He's got set shot 30, which only he has. I know a lot of people are mad because I think he had Curry base the last couple of years. The reasons people aren't hyping this card are due to the fact that he was so dominant in 2K the past 2 years that now that he's just kind of like, meh, people think he's trash. But he's actually really solid. He's not going to dribble, but he's going to be a perfect 3-and-D big man. He's got the size to play the position as well. Like I said, he's not going to dribble. You just need to understand that. But he's still got an 86 ball handle. Like, he can pick up a dribble and just kind of go a little bit. But, you know, he definitely needs some things, certainly. As far as badges go, I mean, he's got a good badge count, but he does kind of need badges at the same time, you know? There's not really much he needs, though. Like, Fade Ace, I would say, is probably beneficial on next gen, but on current gen, it doesn't really mean anything. Ankle braces, I guess. If you come across a dribbling center, I mean, that's going to cause issues. Defensive leader, surprisingly, I think is a badge that you may need to give him, and then, like, difficult shots. But other than that, he's pretty standardly good, man. Number 9 is another center. Once again, like, when it comes to the budget tier this year, centers and point guards are rare. Like, combo forwards and shooting guards, dime a dozen, but centers and point guards, super rare. Boban. Boban is really solid. Like, really solid. Is that one for 1.6? Yeah, let me get that real quick. It's a good one. I don't think I even had this Boban. No, I did. Boban's fantastic. Like, he is 7'4". He's absolutely huge. Like, massive. He is really, really good on next gen, but he's also very good on current gen as well, which I think is something that people aren't giving him credit for necessarily. Like, what is the difference between the signature and non-signature? I always forget these because they're like very confusing, and also I have knowledge from like the last 8 of these releases. I think it's something stupid though. It's corner specialist, which he's never really in the corner, so it doesn't matter. While he does have a low badge count, he makes up for it by being absolutely massive at 7'4" with a 7'8" wingspan. His jump shot's not terrible at set shot 2, same release as like Simbular, which I don't think is bad. It's a decent off the catch release, which I personally like set shot 17, so that's not really, it doesn't mean much coming from me is what I'm saying. But Boban's going to rebound, he's going to block shots, and he's going to make open threes. That's what he's going to do. He's also going to bang in the post a little bit if you need that. And if that's what you're looking for, look no further. That's what you got. Next up is a card that I definitely hype harder than majority of people, and that's for sure. But being that the budget point guards are so weak, I feel like I need to, and that's P-Funk Paul Horizon. Paul Horizon's like 8K MT, and he's definitely worth it. 6'4", he does look a little bit bigger. He's basically an Oladipo clone. He has the same release as Oladipo, but catch and shoot, pickpocket, clamps, like Intimidator, Blinder, Circus, Limitless, and Chef, so he's going to be able to 3-hunt. He also attacks the rim at a really high clip, too. Paul Horizon is incredible. If you're looking for a score-first point guard and your budget is below 10K, I would be willing to say Paul Horizon's probably the best possible person that you could pick up for that job. Like, there's another point guard on this list who's definitely more meta, but when it comes to three-point hunting, Paul Horizon is clearly the best point guard in the game under 10K. It's not particularly close. Number 7 is a card that I will admit it does take a little bit to get used to, and that's Mike Miller. Mike Miller's like 7K, I think, last time I saw it. At the absolute maximum, you're paying 10,000 MT, but you should definitely look for cheaper ones because you will find them. Mike Miller, 6'8". Now, notice his age is 41, so his stamina is going to drain a little bit longer. For those of you, this is something that's been contested all year, but from what I've understood from people that are way smarter in relation to the game than I am, is that the 2 factors in regards to stamina this year are weight and age. Those are the 2, and to a certain extent height as well. Like, bigger people will lose stamina faster, which makes sense. It's more realistic than it has been in years prior, especially last year when speed and stamina kind of were directly tied to how tall a player was in the opposite fashion. Mike Miller's really good though. He's going to be the perfect spot up guy. He can also move too though. Like, he can. He's got meta dribble sigs. Like, he can shoot really well. I personally think his jump shot's good. Some people may not agree with that sentiment. They may think it's a little bit slow or it's hard to time. I've heard both of those things being said. I personally like jump shot 22 on very quick. I mean, nobody seems to complain about this jump shot when it's on Jimmy Butler, but when it's on someone else, all of a sudden it's trash. It's the weirdest thing. I don't get it. I will say I don't like it on point guards though. Mike Miller, though, I mean, shifty dribble style, Lucas behind the back, very easy to use, very solid. There's nothing wrong with this card. I mean, he can cook offensively. He plays very competent defense. He can attack the rim. I will say, even with a 95 driving dunk, he seems to favor layups, which is interesting. Anybody who's played with him in draft or just in general, once he even gets a smidge tired, he will prefer layups, which is actually beneficial. Dunks get blocked significantly more than layups this year. Number 6, the Cum Bucket, which I think is just a hilarious nickname. Kuminga, dude. Kuminga's really good. I've talked about Kuminga at length, so I'm not going to sit here and go too far into Kuminga. It sounded gross. 6'8", 225. He's a beefy boy, for sure. Clamps, intimidator, lockdown defender, great at attacking the rim, can shoot competently enough. I would say he's not the greatest shooter in the world, but at the same time, like, he is a very competent shooter. There's really nothing wrong with this card. Like, yeah, he doesn't have the Hoff shooting badges that you'd like to see. He has Giannis's release, which I really like. He's not the greatest dribbler. Like, he has basic crossover and basic behind the back, which aren't good at all, to be honest. But if you're looking for a pure 3-and-D wing, I think Kuminga is still one of the best in the game. Plus, Giannis's release is elite this year. Number 5. Like I said, dude, there's so many combo forwards. Kyle Kuzma. Shout out to Kyle Kuzma, dog. Why am I shouting out Kyle Kuzma? I don't know. He's probably out there vibing somewhere wearing a sweater that's 6 times too big. Kind of respect it. He's one of the more expensive cards on this list, and the difference between the signed and unsigned version is gold and Hoff Limitless, which is important to a certain extent, and they look to be roughly the same price. So, I mean, if you can spend the extra couple thousand MT, I would get the signature one. But Kuzma is like Kuminga, except where Kuminga is a defensive specialist, Kuzma is significantly better offensively, but he can still hold his own defensively. It's kind of like the same thing I say about, obviously not defense versus offense, but the same thing I say about Giddey and Oscar Robertson. They're two different things. It depends what you favor. Like, when it comes to Giddey and Oscar Robertson, if you favor three-point hunting, you're going to want to go Oscar Robertson. If you favor attacking the rim, you're going to want to go Giddey, right? Same thing with Kuzma and Kuminga. If you favor defense, if you want a pure 3-and-D guy, you're going to want to go Kuminga. If you want someone that's going to be able to play the point forward, I was going to say power forward, but point forward and three-point hunt, in addition to attacking the rim at just a slightly worse clip, Kuminga, for sure. Or Kyle Kuzma. I don't know. I'm confusing myself right now. Anyways, Kuzma's fire, dude. I like what they've done with Kuzma the last couple of years, too. They made him significantly better. He was pretty trash in 20. I'm sorry. He was. Number 4, another pretty weak position, I'll be honest. Hakeem Olajuwon. This card does take a little bit to get used to. He still has kind of a slower jump shot, but he's 7 foot tall, one of the better defensive cards in the entire game. He can shoot open threes. He can play in the post. He's significantly better on next gen than he is on current gen, but still very usable. I would say for this price, he's one of the better centers that you could get. I mean, there's some centers that are right above this price that you could get that are a little bit better, but I think Hakeem is just fine. Especially if you have Ralph Sampson, you can run that dynamic duo. Chef's kiss. Fantastic. Number 3, another newly released card. I just drove back from the Chicagoland area. I am exhausted. Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher is great. Once again, just like I said with Powell, if you are a newer player and you're looking for a big man, especially at the power forward that can sit there and play defense and shoot threes, no one at this price is better than Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher has a lights out release. I love it personally. 6'9", like catch and shoot corner specialist, rim protector clamps. He can move, he can defend. He's not going to be able to, in a meta fashion dribble, but he can definitely handle the ball enough. If you need him to push the tempo and like a fast break for a little bit, he can do that. There is nothing wrong with this card. Like, this card is fantastic. This card has actually inspired me to possibly start a new series where I go from day 1 to try to have a meta squad. One of those like, see how my team improves kind of series. The reason that Chris Boucher, I don't know, I don't have a fancy name for it. All right. The reason Chris Boucher inspired this, though, is because this card is so good that I wanted to use him on my main squad, but I could not justify using him over Jermaine O'Neal, my badged out Jermaine O'Neal, or Lamar Odom. So I wanted an excuse to run Chris Boucher on a consistent basis because I like this card that much. Number 2, it should be no surprise. He probably should be number 1, but I've talked about this card too much, and that's why. Denny. He's, without a doubt, probably the most meta and easy to use point guard at this price tier. Like, that's not a joke. He also has a dynamic duo with Rui Hachimura, which is pretty good, but you don't really need to run it with Denny. Denny's fantastic. He's 6'9". He looks like 7'2" for some reason. I don't know if it's a little floofy hair or what's going on there, but Denny is the best possible point guard that you can buy for, honestly, I would say under 25K, but especially for under 5K. I don't even need to go into too much more detail on this one. Like, he's that good. Go pick him up ASAP. Number 1. Come on, dog. You already know. You already know who it is. It's fucking Lamar Odom, dude. Of course. Lamar Odom is, without a doubt, the best card that you can pick up for under 25K. I have no reservations about saying that. I would say that, yes, he's better than Denny. Now, like, if you only have 30K and you're trying to build a starting 5, maybe Lamar Odom's not the best. But this card's dumb. Paul George base, like, on very quick. 6'10", can move. There is absolutely zero negative things about this card. Not one. Straight up. He is perfect in every capacity. Like, this card can stand up with the best small forward, power forwards in the game. It is not even close. I would be willing to say that this card, for sure, at this price point, is a top 10 small forward in this game. That may draw some ire certainly, especially from the all money spent guys, but I actually believe that. And you guys know that I'm not one of those people that typically overhypes budget cards. Like, I understand that 2K is a pay to win experience, and regardless how good budget cards appear, they're always going to be inferior to cards that are like hard to pull from packs and cost a lot of MT. They are. That's just a fact, right? And we're seeing that with the invincible cards. But when it comes to Lamar Odom, he is top 10 at that position, and I got to give somebody props. Whoever put this card in the game, dude, respect. But as always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes. Thank you for watching this video. Hey, drop a like, please. I never asked for likes for videos, but they really do. I was sitting there watching YouTube videos today, and I realized that I don't like things on a consistent basis, and that's kind of up because I actually do this as well. So I, out of everyone, should know how much one singular like helps. So, you know, just like the video, dude. Just like help me out, bro. I'm trying to be better about likes too, so we can grow together. Peace.